AC Milan are definitely heading in the right direction. The San Siro Giants have started waking up from their long slumber, and after a great showing during the second half of the last campaign, the Rossoneri are expected to make a great start to the upcoming 2020 to 2021 Serie A campaign. Stefano Pioli has done wonders to this side, and one of the most exciting things that's happened at the club this summer is the arrival of Sandro Tonali. While a move to Inter Milan appeared to be all but done, things kinda changed after the Nerazzurri coach Antonio Conte demanded more experience. The former Chelsea boss was eager to sign Arturo Vidal from Barcelona, and in his hunt for the experienced Chilean, decided not to proceed with the young midfielder. This allowed AC Milan to act quickly and sign the player on a €10 million loan spell. Milan also have the option to permanently sign the youngster for €15 million. Brescia would be given $10 million in bonuses, and there is a 15% sell-on clause, which means that AC Milan have got their hands on one of the most promising midfielders in Europe for a bargain price. Imagine if Tonali was an English player, then he would have been signed for crazy sums of money. Before we start talking about Tonali and how far he would go in his playing career, let's take a look at the early days when he was taking his first steps as a precocious talent at Lombardia Uno, a team based in Milan. When he was 12, Tonali moved to Brescia, where he made his senior debut at the age of 17 back in August 2017. In his first season of first-team football, Tonali scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists in 19 appearances. However, it had already become clear that the young Italian was destined for the top and just needed one more season to really get into his groove. During the 2019-20 campaign, Tonali played a crucial role in helping Brescia lift the Serie B title and return to Serie A. The 2019-20 campaign in the Serie A would be the first time when a few more people outside Italian football would find out who Tonali is. The youngster put in brave displays as Brescia struggled for survival. Tonali had never hidden his love for AC Milan and has been a big fan of Gennaro Gattuso. The youngster loves Milan so much that even serious interest from 2 of the biggest teams in Europe wasn't enough to convince him into joining them. According to Brescia president Cellino, "We have received an offer in January from Barcelona for Tonali. Manchester United made a bid for him before Milan, but once Milan came forward, the player went crazy and asked to join Milan because it's the team he supported since he was a child." Before we talk about how AC Milan will benefit from the youngster's presence, let's take a look at how Brescia's tactics helped him realise his true potential. Under the guidance of Eugenio Carini, Tonali was deployed as a regista in a 4-3-1-2 formation. This means that the young Italian will position himself in front of the defence, which allows him to dictate the play of the game and sends the ball forward to initiate attacking moves. But the youngster is more than just that, something that's often been ignored in the media. If you look at the shifts he's put in for the Italian national side, you'll notice that Roberto Mancini prefers fielding him as a box-to-box midfielder, or a mezzala as they say in Italian. The Azzurri already have a regista in Jorginho at the moment, but not using Tonali would be a travesty. Therefore, Mancini has found the right system to make full use of the youngster's talents. All in all, you can say that Tonali is at the centre of an asymmetrical triangle, especially when it comes to receiving the ball. Throughout the previous campaign, Brescia's fullbacks pushed further up the pitch in order to make themselves available for Tonali. The youngster will receive the ball from a defender, use his excellent dribbling skills to go deeper in enemy territory, or simply make full use of his great passing ability to quickly create offensive moves. Now, a lot of people have compared the youngster to former AC Milan legend Andrea Pirlo, and we do understand where this particular rhetoric comes from. Perhaps Pirlo's greatest asset, arguably more crucial than his passing ability, was how his body orientation allowed him to put through neat passes between defenders. Tonali does the same, and looks a lot like the former World Cup winner in this aspect. In fact, Pirlo himself admitted that Tonali is far more complete than he was. When it comes to playing for a team like Brescia that would always struggle against top-flight teams, it's important to have a midfielder who pitches in defence. Brescia have never been the most technically gifted side out there, which is why Carini positioned his best player in front of his defence. During phases when the team is gearing up for an opponent's offensive, Tonali would come between the 2 centre-backs, which would give his side an extra defender. Now, Tonali doesn't have the physical attributes to be the sort of player who would outmuscle opponents easily. Instead, the youngster's ability to read passages of play and predicting different scenarios offers him a chance to make either crucial interceptions or go for the odd tackle. The 20-year-old is definitely not a player who will dive into tackles, but he does have the tendency to give away fouls in dangerous areas of the pitch. This is something that the youngster will need to work on, but then again, at the age of 20, Tonali's bound to make a few mistakes. And perhaps his tendency to go all in while defending is why the player himself relates to Gattuso, who was quite a juggernaut on the pitch in his playing days. Another unique thing about Tonali is that he's extremely accomplished when his team is transitioning to offense from defense. When his team wins back possession, the 20-year-old will find himself a pocket of space in an area where it's easy for his teammate to pick him out. Once he receives the ball, the young midfielder will do a quick scan of the pitch, weigh up his options, and see which one will be the most logical one. When we talk about Tonali, we're talking about an extremely intelligent player who appears to know the attributes of his teammates. Based on which teammate is the best option, he'll choose a pass type. Blessed with a wide range of passing tools, Tonali can either go for a nice through ball, a long ball, or a delicate chip. Unlike Pirlo, who you would rarely see gallivanting all over the pitch at top speed, Tonali has great acceleration, and it's a perfect part of a counter-attacking move. When the time comes, the Italy international will actually get a little physical with his opponents. So now that he's at Milan, how will Tonali fit in at the San Siro? Clearly, Stefano Pioli has a great squad at his disposal already. Ismail Benacer has been the team's midfield dynamo, while Hakan Çalhanoğlu has been the perfect creative force. In fact, Benacer averaged 1.7 interceptions per game while Tonali had 1.2. Similarly, the Algerian has been a more accurate passer of the ball, enjoying a pass completion of 88.3% as compared to Tonali's 76.1%. Moreover, he averaged 2.2 successful tackles per game, while Tonali won 1.1 out of 2.2 average tackles per game. However, these stats don't cover the whole thing at all. Tonali tends to misplace passes because he's one of those progressive thinking players who will take risks to create a chance. Most of the times, such passes aren't completed, but when they do, they can create goal-scoring opportunities. Moreover, unlike Benacer, Tonali is expected to be the chief instigator of the build-up play, so with such a role, he's bound to misplace passes every now and then. So how did Milan line up with Tonali? Stefano Pioli prefers to go for a 4-2-3-1 formation with Franck Kessie and Ismail Benacer mostly acting as two pivots in the centre of the park. The two midfielders have been integral to the team's success last season, but there's always a need for depth in the squad. Milan will be playing in the Europa League this season, and with fixtures piling up near the festive period, they'll want to rest some of the stars every now and then. Kessie was crucial to the team last season. The Ivorian ticks all the right boxes, so we don't really see him spending time on the bench. Pioli is likely to use Tonali as a like-for-like replacement for Benacer. It would totally depend on the young Italian if he'll be able to displace the Algerian international from the starting 11. But one thing is clear, if you look at the team's midfield, Pioli is clearly building on a team for the future. At the age of 20, Tonali has time on his side and is going to be given enough opportunities to nail down a place in the starting 11. Coming back to where he would fit in, based on the squad he has, Pioli has a lot of options to go for. Looking at his creative influence, either Benacer or Kessie could be placed in a pivot with Çalhanoğlu and Tonali pairing up with Ante Rebic and Brahim Diaz or Sami Castillejo, offering width on both sides of the pitch. This role would see AC Milan playing a really attacking brand of football. With Tonali's passing ability, star striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be able to impose himself further while spearheading the attack. The prospect of Tonali finding the Swedish forward is mouth-watering indeed. However, against teams such as Inter Milan, Juventus, Napoli and Atalanta, who will take the game to them, Pioli is expected to field a more conservative midfield, with Benacer and Kessie back to being pivots and the Turkish playmaker up ahead. Tonali might not be ready for those big games, but then again, no one will expect him to become a world beater within the next few months. There are definitely quite a few areas where Tonali needs to improve. The youngster's passing from the deeper areas is questionable, since most of the passes he makes from deep often miss their mark. The youngster also needs to be more involved in games, since he averages roughly 34 passes per 90 minutes. If you ask us, Tonali is a perfect fit for AC Milan. The youngster's intelligence, positioning and good body strength makes him a great player to have in offensive and defensive situations. A lot will be expected of him once the campaign starts. However, at the age of 20, Stefano Pioli would and should protect the youngster as much as possible and give him time to develop. After playing only one season in top-flight Italian football, and that too for a team that went down, Tonali has a long road ahead of him, but looking at his past performances and potential, he will only get better with time. Want to know how we never miss a match? With Fubo TV, you can stream any game, anytime, anywhere. Use our link in the description to start for free and watch your favourite teams live.